How you doing, folks? My name is Kim Johnson, and again, I'm making this little video in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I want to say hello to my audience out there, and I want to thank you, everyone, for the comments you made on my last video. My last video, I made a part one on "Think to Grow Rich" by Napoleon Hill, and I talked about sex mastery, and this is like a little part two on it. I want to kind of finish off where I left off last time. In my last video, I had mentioned the fact that a lot of our teenagers in society are going through this emotion, the emotion of sex and how to express it. Okay, is it possible to express this emotion in a positive way? Can I find a worthy outlet to express this emotion instead of expressing it in a negative way? Okay, and that's a question. Okay, and usually we depend on TV programs to answer that question for us. 1,000 ways to love a man, 1,000 ways to love a woman, and we try these things and they don't work out. And the reason why we have these papers on our job, sexual harassment, right? Because it has been a big thing um, in our society. It has been a big thing. We have witnessed people touching other people and different things like that. And I'm not here uh, to point the finger at anybody today. I'm here to offer a solution before that happens. A solution, okay? A solution before somebody go down and put handcuffs on you because you ended up doing something that you regret later, okay? And that's what life is all about. Again, I want everybody to keep the people in Texas in prayer. We had a shooting to go on yesterday, and we want to keep them in prayer too down in Texas. Their family members and things like that. But as I said, this sex mastery is a solution. And I remember an individual going to church, and we had a talk. And he said he was a young believer at that particular time, and he did a lot of reading and studying in the Bible. Okay, and one of the scriptures he said he came across was avoid fornication, avoid it, and that seemed to be a big thing among young people at the particular time. He expressed to me that he was young at the time, and he began to feel this emotion. And he said he had went to different types of counselors and talked about it in the church world on how he can deal with that. And he wanted to deal with it in a godly way. He said that that was his mindset at that particular time. Okay, and he said that they helped him as much as they could. Okay, a lot of them were married. He wasn't married at the particular time. And he said eventually he began to fall into that trap. He fell into the sex trap, and he said he didn't feel good about falling into that. Okay, and he found himself going to the altar again and again and asking God for forgiveness, and then he fall back into it again. And he said it was like a roller coaster ride for him, right? And he eventually he got married, and he said that that was one of his ways to deal with that. And God does put that there for us, right? A mate, he does, right? But we want to do things for the right reasons, and I'm not saying that he did things for the wrong reasons. I'm saying we want to do things for the right reasons as much as we can in society. I'm going to do a little bit of reading. I'm not going to keep it long at all. I'm going to read this, and this is part two, Napoleon Hill, Think to Grow Rich, Sex Mastery. It says, the desire, and when it says desire, it talks about the desire of sex, cannot and should not be submerged or eliminated. Okay, a lot of times we can witness that we feel this emotion and begin to hide the emotion someplace else in our life, right? Um, we begin to not want to feel it or to think that something's wrong with us. Nothing's wrong with us. It's a God-given emotion, okay? It is, right? It should not be submerged or eliminated, Okay, but it should be given an outlet through forms of expression that enrich the body. Let me read it again. But it should be given an outlet through forms of expression that enrich the body, mind, and spirit. And when we talk about sex transportation, it talks about how the emotion comes up in our life and it begins to speed up the human mind, it begins to speed up the heart. And when it comes up, instead of expressing it in the physical way, we take our mind while we're feeling the emotion and going through this to an area of our life that we want to get better. And we begin to think in that area while the emotion is going on in our life. Okay, that's what that means, right? And again, in my last video, I said it takes practice. This is not something that you're going to accomplish overnight, trust me. Because it's too many devices out here to tell us that we don't even have to do this. But if we practice this, and I'm a living witness, right, we begin to be successful in those areas that we want to accomplish. And I'm not lying to my audience today. I practice this myself, and it works. It really does, right? We take our mind to another area, a goal, okay, that we want to accomplish. And while the emotion is going on, right, we begin to think about how we can make that situation better. It could be a grade in school, and I'm saying it to our young adults today. Okay, it could be a business task. Okay, it could be in a new profession. And when this happens, right, our mind begin to open up to new and forms of knowledge and understanding. Okay, only through practice. That's how this happens, right? Let me read on. Okay, it says, if not given the form, I'm, excuse me, if not given this form of outlet, and I'm talking about an outlet that enriches the mind, body, and spirit through transmit through transmutation, it will seek outlets through purely physical channels, the emotional sex. Okay, if we don't learn to practice it in a way that to enrich the mind, body, and spirit, okay, it will seek outlets through purely physical channels. Okay, a river may be dammed and its water controlled for a time, but eventually it will force an outlet. Okay, the same is true of the emotional sex. It may be submerged and controlled for a time, but its very nature causes it to be ever seeking means of expression. It's always seeking means of expression, always seeking a way to express itself. Okay, this emotion. If it is not transmuted into some creative effort, such as reaching the goal, it will find a less worthy outlet. And usually, a lot of our teenagers are influenced by television. You just getting out the house. Um, I'm a freshman in college now, and I heard so much about college. Man, I'm out of high school now, and now I can really take off. I can do a whole lot. Okay, all right. But this can help our younger generation too. Okay, it's not impossible to do, but it does take practice. All right, and it takes discipline because believe me, it takes discipline, and you have to be willing to try this. Okay, and it works. Again, okay. Um, it says, fortunate indeed are those who have discovered how to give sex emotion an outlet through some form of creative effort. Fortunate are these people who are able to find a way to express the sexual emotion through a creative effort. They're fortunate, okay? For they have, by that discovery, lifted themselves to the status of genius. Okay. I can witness one time, I had a yard sale one time going on, and I practice this a lot. I really do. Okay. And it also says that those who have achieved great fortunes in life, okay, were influenced by a woman. It says that just being around them. And okay. because we don't have to reach out and touch. We can take our mind someplace else, okay? Even if we want to look at her in a respectful way, we can take our mind there too. Something that's creative, okay? I want to respect you more, okay? And I'm gonna tell you the great thing about this thing too. This thing is great, right? Just to hit on this right now, um, I kind of like politics a little bit, okay? And one of the things I have witnessed is being around politicians and different things like that is a lot of times there's women around them, okay? And one of the things I have witnessed in my own personal life and self-development is that when I practice this, and nobody has to know that you're practicing this or what you're thinking in your mind, okay? I began to have a spiritual awakening in my own personal life. Okay. And what I mean by spiritual awakening, I began to see people differently. And I found it amazing. I was at um, this group one day, and there was some Asian people in there. There was some people from Russia. There was some people from America. There was some people from different India. Okay, that's the country. And I found it amazing that these people could speak in different languages and have their prayers answered. I said, that's amazing right there. That the Chinese can speak Chinese, pray, and have the prayer answered in Chinese. I thought that was super right there. I found it amazing that an Indian person could speak the Indian language and have their prayers answered in India. That's what I mean by opening up your mind and your insight to something totally brand new that's respectful for human beings. Okay. And this can help a lot of people, right, in society, and I'm gonna say this, from becoming sexual predators too. Meaning, and I'm not pointing the finger when I say that. I'm here to offer a solution, okay? Because a lot of people like that, I'm finding out, just have a problem expressing it right now, okay? You can practice something positive like this, right? And you can avoid any type of consequences that you may face in the future, okay? See, we're here to offer solutions, not to talk about the problems. Okay. We may talk about them for a little bit, but we can talk about the solution a whole lot. Okay. And that's what I'm about. Okay. And back to this subject here. I began to look at people in a whole different way. I began to look at Spanish people in a different way, speaking Spanish. And I call it a form of meditation. And it's like, can you imagine, okay, and I guess I was around a little politics session or whatever the case may be. Being a politician, hearing the person in Spanish express their needs to you, okay, with the broken English or whatever, an Asian or an Indian person, and you are able to answer them because you pay attention to them. I think that's a great thing right there, man. Okay, it's to, it's like a spirit. It's like you begin to wake up to a whole nother you, and it's like, man, I mean, it's just amazing. Okay, and that's another creative effort where we can use this emotion to express itself in a worthy matter instead of a less worthy matter or an unworthy matter, excuse me. Okay, such as, man, you just fine or whatever the case may be, and you know how we can get sometimes. Okay, all right, and I have witnessed a few college kids who they had a subject going on sex magistrate. Okay, and they was trying to express it in the best way they could, but again, it takes practice. It takes practice, man. Okay, it can help the housewives in Atlanta. It can help the housewives in Orange County. Okay, it takes your mind to a whole nother level of thinking, and it's positive. Okay, and I have been successful doing yard sales. I have been successful in my own in my own personal life, just to name a few things, money wise, right? It's all. It has also been used by great businessmen towards the achievement of wealth. And the book it talks about that. In my last video, I talked about how Dennis Kimbrough and Napoleon Hill were getting together, right, um, to make a book uh, for the black community, okay, on how we can make things better like this in our Afro American areas, okay, and I'm all for that, okay, and again, I want to thank my audience for this, right. This is a very important subject because a lot of us have teenagers who are going to school now, and we have begun to get that number one question. That number one, though, boy, you knew it was coming one day. One day it's going to be here, and there it is. I like boys, daddy. You understand what I'm saying, mama? And I met this boy. I mean, and society teaches us, well, we can't hold them back. We got to let them go because if they don't do it, then they'll, if we don't stop them or try to stop them, they'll end up doing it anyway. But we can express this to our younger kids also, and they can begin to understand themselves better. Okay. Um, I want to thank the people for watching these videos. I want to say be encouraged. Okay. Continue to pray for the people in Texas, and I will be making more videos like this. I have a whole lot to talk about in this book here because I read the whole book over and over again. Okay. It talks about auto suggestion, right? It talks about a whole lot of things, okay? It talks about some of the stimuli of the mind, meaning sex is not the only stimulant, okay? We have some stimulants that are not worthy at all, such as drugs and alcohol. It can produce the same effect too. It really can, but it produces death in the end, okay? It talks about that. And there's no shortcuts in this right there, okay? Um, I'm going to say y'all continue to pray for me. I'll continue to pray for y'all, and y'all have a great day, and God bless you. Thank you very much.